Hello, Knights of Guitar. I want to tell you about something which is a big problem for a lot of guitar players out there, and it might be you as well. So when it comes to playing solos, you often find that what you're doing is you're meandering through the scales and you're not really saying anything. Imagine a person just opening their mouth and just talking gibberish without making a point. There's noise happening, but there's no point being made. That's the same thing when you're just meandering through a scale. And I use the word meandering because that's what a river does. It just goes woo, side to side, side to side, instead of being direct to the destination. And it's like that with music. You know, your fingers are moving, you're just noodling, but there's no real content there. There's no intention behind what you're doing. And when you're doing that, it's frustrating. And when you listen back to that, it's frustrating. And when you hear the guitar greats and wonder why their solos are so anthemic, why they're so memorable or hummable, even a lot of them, you can actually hum them or sing them, wondering why they sound so great and why you don't, there's quite a few elements that come into making your guitar playing sound professional, or making it sound sophisticated. And that is one of the main problems that we're going to solve in my latest course, Guitar Greatness Unlocked. I'm going to take your guitar playing, I'm going to take it from being disappointing, frustrating, sounding amateurish, to making it sound way more sophisticated, way more professional, and something you would actually be proud to share with people, to say, yeah, look, this is me. Yeah, that's me. I did that. And you're not actually going to cringe away from it in embarrassment. You're actually going to be proud of it because it sounds great. Guitar playing isn't just about going through the motions and practicing exercises and working on technique. That is fun, and we love doing that because we're guitar players. We love forward momentum. We love the feeling of achievement. We're always going to do that anyway, being musicians. That's just what we do. But that's only one aspect of it. That's not necessarily why we picked up the guitar in the first place. That's not necessarily where the love and the passion and the excitement and the attraction towards the guitar came from. We weren't attracted to the guitar thinking, wow, I really want to work on alternate picking exercises for the next 30 years. No, we were attracted to the guitar. It sounded great. And we probably heard it in some music that we enjoyed and we're like, oh, I want to do that thing, right? That's where the passion came from. And if we're not addressing that part of us that needs that passion in the guitar playing, then it's going to wither and die, and we're going to get disappointed, we're going to get bored. Worst case scenario, we're actually going to give up. In many cases, get actually really depressed. But you can pull yourself out of that. And the clearest way to do that is to reconnect with the reasons you picked up the guitar in the first place. And it's to connect with the fire and the passion, these cliched phrases, but they're cliche for a reason, because they're true. That's why a cliche is a cliche, because it is true, and it's just repeated so many times because it's good advice. We're reigniting the passion. That's what we need to do, and give yourself a reason why you play guitar. It's not, you don't play guitar because you want to recite exercises. That's just something you do to give yourself the tools to be able to articulate music. But if you're not articulating music, you're left with nothing but the joy of practicing for the sake of practicing. I call that obligation-based practice, because you feel at the end of your day, maybe you've gone to work, you've had a full day, you get home, you realize, oh, I've got to go through that whole sequence of exercises, that sequence of 10, 20, 30 exercises for 2 hours or whatever it is. Otherwise I'll feel bad towards my guitar playing because I'm not playing the guitar. And it becomes an obligation, just another thing to tick off the box. Or maybe you do it in the morning before you go to work. Whatever it is, it becomes an obligation. And anything that becomes an obligation, you start falling out of love with it pretty quickly. And it becomes hard then to find a reason to make progress. Yeah, so many of you guys know what that feels like. Yeah, but, you know, I know what that feels like. And it's very hard to keep going and find a reason to kickstart something to be inspired about if you're in that place. And then you just get stuck in the motions, then the physical motions of repeating the I can't think of the word now. What's the word I'm looking for? Can't remember. But basically you're just repeating the physical motions of it every day, reenacting that out, because that's all you know at that point. It's just physical, and there's nothing else there. that's when you get stuck in the doldrums and it's really hard to pull yourself out of that. So that's what we're doing. We're reconnecting with that part of yourself that was attracted to the guitar because you want to create stuff that sounds amazing, feels amazing when you play it. I mean, we all know that feeling of when you've played something through the guitar and just that small collection of notes, whether it was 2 notes or 3, and it just sounded so good. You know, you get those days where the tone is just so right and it's like just dripping with the right amount of sustain and gain, and you just hit it just right. It was the most full pick attack you could have done. You got the harmonic when you needed to, and everything sounds great. That's why you do it. It's those feelings right there. And we want to increase those instances. And so instead of them being rarities, they start becoming the norm, so that every time you pick up your guitar, you're getting that feeling. Because when you have the touch of someone who is great at what they do, kind of every note you play sounds great. It feels great. You know, you're not going through the 80% of rubbish to get to like the 20% that feels good. So I'm going to give you the roadmap that's going to enable you to be able to do that. So picking runs, for example, alternate picking runs are big. We all want to be able to do them, but how do you make them sound like music? I'm going to show you how to create powerful picking runs. So instead of just like meandering through a scale from every single interval in the scale from point A to point B, your picking runs are going to be like music itself. I'm going to, you know, when you're playing picking runs that sound like mini symphonies, instead of just boring scale run number 23, everything that you do becomes so much more satisfying. Your ad-libbing becomes more satisfying. Your solo compositioning becomes more satisfying. The potential of you as a guitar player is increased exponentially because you know how to create music instead of just meandering through a scale. And arpeggios, I'm going to show you how to integrate arpeggios into your music, which is the way arpeggios should be integrated, because the way most people play them, they become a feature. So it's like, here's a solo, you're going through the solo, and then it's almost like the guitar player says, right, now I'm going to go to the sweep picking section. And then it becomes a sweep picking section. It becomes a feature. It's obvious. And that's okay. It's okay to have those features. But if that's the only thing you know how to do with arpeggios, then you're always going to be limited to having, here's the sweep picking section. And I don't want that for you. I don't want you to be limited to just feeling like the only thing you know how to do with arpeggios is just play a sweep picking section. No, arpeggios need to be integrated into music. You know when you're using arpeggios really well because the listener will hear it and they won't even know what technique you're using to create the arpeggios. Yeah, see, arpeggios are arpeggios. They're not sweep picking. Sweep picking is a technique you can use to play arpeggios. But arpeggios themselves are musical elements which can be played with sweep picking. They don't have to be, all right? But once you understand that and you start integrating arpeggios musically, again, your solo skills are just going to be like, whoosh, right? It's amazing being able to do that. It feels incredible. When you start doing it itself, you're going to like be laughing because it just feels so great. You're actually probably going to have to force yourself to be a little bit more conservative and not use it all the time because that's how good it feels. So that's one of the other things you're going to be doing. I'm going to teach you how to make your phrasing more interesting, more musical, more sophisticated. I'm going to teach you how to take the listener on a journey so that your phrasing is not predictable as well and very monotonous and robotic. I'm going to teach you that. I'm going to teach you how to pick the great notes that always sound good instead of just hoping that you land on a note that sounds good. I'm going to show you how to pick the right scale. So there's lots of practical, physical applications you can apply straight away to your guitar playing. But as you know, at Castle Higgy, we don't just tackle the physical. It's not just about technique. Yeah, we go into the most important place of all, which is up here, because that's where everything starts. So we're going to go through demon slaying psychology. And yeah, it's a badass name because that's what we're going to be doing. So any mental barriers you have, overanalyzing, perfectionism, which is not what you think it is. Perfectionism comes up a lot, but still people are mistaken about what perfectionism really is. So that is one thing we're going to tackle, as well as loads of others like hiding behaviors, not feeling good enough, comparing yourselves to others. I'm also going to completely destroy that shred versus feel argument once and for all. Literally, this is the last word on this subject, once I've destroyed that, literally that argument is gone, and you will never see that. You'll see that out in the world and you'll be like, yeah, I know the last word about that. So shred versus feel. I'll tell you what feel really is. Yeah, so that shred versus feel argument is dead after that completely. I'm going to tell you the truth about inspiration. I'm going to tell you the truth about creativity. I'm going to tell you how tempo is completely linked to subject matter and how important that is. I'm also going to tell you how guitar tone influences you and the way you play, and why it's so important for you guys to know this and to know who you are. I haven't even mentioned everything that's in the course. There's way more in that which you can see in the link below, but there's also going to be some epic bonuses which are going to disappear in a few days. So these are for those of you who want to get on it early. There's going to be a live creation mastermind with me where I'm going to create a song from nothing, then and there with you. You'll be there live with me. You'll see me come up with riffs, an arrangement and a solo, and you'll be able to take that process and apply it yourself. And there's going to be a live inspiration roundtable. So any burning questions you have about finding inspiration, about being creative, about your guitar playing, you can come there, speak to me, ask me these questions. We're going to go through it live together. There's also going to be, and I'm really excited about this one because there's going to be a live mixing session with Graham Waller, epic record producer. He is going to take the track that I come up with in the live creation mastermind. He's going to mix that there live with you. So you're going to hear how he does his magic and what I've done. I'm going to be there too, just as Google-eyed at what Graham does as you guys are going to be. And you're also going to win the chance to have a track of yours mixed by Graham himself as well. And there's also going to be a Guitar Legends course of your choice. So if you want to choose any of the Legends courses from Yngwie, Vai, Petrucci, Malmsteen, I've said Malmsteen, Van Halen, all the others, all of the courses from the Legends. If you want one of them of your choice, you get to choose one of them too. So those are bonuses for those who get on this early, but they will disappear. Anyway, the crux of this video is you need to understand that if you want to get better, it doesn't get better by buying more gear. Sure, you could spend a few $100s on buying more guitars, pedals, what have you, all right? And there's a little dopamine hit when you do that, but it doesn't actually solve any problems, right? If you actually want to get better with your guitar, it's not going to get better on its own, all right? And if not today, when? Okay, you can try and keep looking up the YouTube videos, but you know, it's hit and miss, and I sure as hell wouldn't want to sit through a load of boring YouTube videos of people talking about theory and songwriting and crap like that, or even worse, wasting your time with memes, which are great for views, but not really great for you, right? If you actually want to do something about your guitar playing, then look, the answer is not in talking about gear, burying your head in dopamine hits. It's actually about taking this step. It's taking responsibility and saying, right, I'm going to do something about this once and for all. And I can either take that guy's offer of solving my problem and make legendary guitar gains, or I can save that measly amount of money and buy another foot pedal, which quite frankly, I'm still the same guitar player I was, but with another foot pedal. So anyway, it's there. I want to move forward with people that want to move forward themselves. And those people are true Knights of Castle Higgy. They have the moral characteristics required. They have the strength of character, they have the courage, and they have the integrity. Those are the people I love best. So I look forward to seeing you in the castle for Guitar Greatness Unlocked. See you there.